Hi, I'm Wanda with Jimmy Branch Homestead. Today, I'm going to be canning venison. Whether it's fresh, which this is, we've been very blessed this year to get 3 deer, or if you need to make room in your freezer, it's a great alternative to putting canned venison on your shelf, on your pantry shelf, and making up room in your freezer. So, I have about 1.5 gallons Ziplocs bags today full of venison. These are from the hindquarters, and they're just cut into, about 1-inch pieces. So first off, I do like to salt and pepper mine. You do not need to add any salt and pepper. Salt will just help in the preservation, but it is not required. I simply do it for the flavoring. So I'm going to start off by dumping some in this bucket and putting some salt and pepper on it. And I'll just sprinkle it on it. You don't want to give too much because when you do can it, it can make it taste stronger. So you can always add to it later. But I just sprinkle a little bit in there, give it a toss. And then we are going to be cold packing this meat today. So I've put cold water in the canner. And this just came out of the refrigerator, excuse me. So cold meat going into the jars. And I'll just put this in loosely to about 1 inch from the top. You don't want to pack it too tight. You do want the heat to be able to move throughout the meat. I have a great recipe that I'll share in a separate video for beef tips. Works with venison or with beef. And it's a quick and easy recipe. I can probably put another piece or 2 in there. Okay. Yeah, I like to bring it right up to the edge of the rim. I think that's probably about close enough. Let me see if I got a small piece. Oh, here's a small piece. Okay. And this will make its own juice when it's canned as it cooks through the meat. I think I currently had, originally I think I had 20 pints on the shelf, a pint jar's about the right serving size for my husband and I. Depending on how I'm fixing it. And a lot of times we'll have a little left over. Okay, I'll need a couple more pieces in that one. Again, salt and pepper. Small piece. All right. My canner only holds 7 quarts or 7 wide mouth jars at a time. So we'll have to see how far this goes. I may have to do a second load. And this meat will be so tender when you get ready to use it. It just falls apart. See if I got another small piece there. Oh. Okay. Oh, these just don't grip real well. I might have to get the kind without the plastic on them. Oops. Making a mess. I probably could have just added the salt and pepper right in the bag and kept adding as I moved the meat down, but I just thought this would be easier to get in and out of than the bag. Again, I'm not tightly packing it down in here, just loosely dropping it in place. Piece there. Small piece there. Okay. Looks like I'll have plenty to do 2 cannerfuls, so I'm very excited about that. And again, this is just the meat from the hindquarters, just the clear chunks of meat. I'll still have all the hamburger to grind and put away too. And you can hamburger, but we prefer it frozen. I might dry can some. just to try it and see if we like it. I didn't care for it canned in water. Ooh. This isn't all gonna fit. Yay, hopefully I'll have 2 full canners. Now, meat does require pressure canning. You cannot do it in a water bath. The first year I put all into burger, and the second year I did half burger and half canning like this. It makes for meal preparation be quick and easy when I forget to take stuff out of the freezer. Okay, so that gives me 7 jars. I was pretty careful putting it in there, so I don't think there's much on the rims, but just as a safety precaution, you always want to wipe down the rims. Oh, that one had a little blood on it. Oh, that might have touched the meat inside. Okay, now I'll just add the lids, and I'm using the superb canning lids from Azure Standard. I had a lot of ball canning lids, and over the last month or so I've had a lot of issues with failures using those lids. Looking back, those are lids that I did get during the pandemic, so I don't know if the quality was lower or what, but canning meat, I want to make sure it's going to last. Always be sure to check your jars for any chips or cracks, and your rings to make sure they're not dented. And then I'm just going to do a quick to finger tight. Spin it, and then just a little more. Just want to make sure that one went on straight. And then I'll just set these in the canner. Again, the meat is cold and the water is cold. I'm starting everything from cold. Yeah. I believe I can squeeze one more in there. Yay. Let me pause the video while I go and get another jar. Okay, I'm back with another jar and filling it up. Okay, so that first bag just about filled 8 jars. Okay, let's see, here's my paper towel. Okay, so I have 8 wide mouth pints. Let me see if I can bring in a little closer so you can see. And I will put the lid on. Now for my elevation, this will be processed at 10 pounds. I'll turn on the stove now. And I usually put it on medium-high because once it heats up, that's where, between medium and medium-high is where mine will stay regulating the pressure evenly. So once this comes to a full steam and there's lots of steam coming out of the top, I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm not sure how good you can see, but there's a good steady stream of steam coming up from the vent. So now I'm going to time that for 10 minutes. And after the 10 minutes, I'll put my weight on. Now, since my canner takes 10 pounds for my area, I basically have 2 rings that come with mine and the main weight. So mine takes, each piece is worth for 5 pounds of pressure. So mine takes the middle piece and 1 ring. Again, I have to wait till this vents for 10 minutes. I'll be back with you then. Okay, so the timer's going off. It's time to put the weights on. And now the next step is I have to wait till it starts steadily jiggling. And once it does, then it has to process for 90 minutes. So I'll be back when it starts jiggling so you can see how that is. Okay, it's only been a few minutes and it started rocking gently. And it's rocking steady. So now I set the timer for 90 minutes. Back with you soon. Okay, so the timer's going off. It has processed for 90 minutes. I'm just going to turn the burner off. It's still hot, so it's going to keep on pressuring for a few minutes. But at this point, I'm going to not touch it. I'm going to just leave it to cool on its own. I'm not going to try and rush dropping the pressure at all because that will siphon the jars. And we'll just let it completely cool on its own. Once it has, I'll come back with you and we'll take the jars out. Okay, so the pressure dropped completely and I have removed all of the jars from the canner. It's still very hot. It looks like they are sealed, but at this point I just want to leave them to completely cool, and tomorrow before I put them away, I'll clean them up with vinegar. We have really hard water, so you can see it's got a lot of calcium and minerals on the outside of the jar. So I'll touch base back with you tomorrow. It'll be just a moment for you. Good morning. It's the next day and my 8 pints are finished and cleaned up. The rest of the meat did fill another 5.5 pints. So we're going to clean up the rims, just use a little vinegar. And that's just to make sure there's no salt, pepper, meat juice, fat, or anything that will keep the rims from sealing with the lids. Again, I have cold water. I'm cold packed my meat, and I have cold water in the canner to help it keep from being quite so bad. I'm going to just dump some vinegar in the water, and that'll just help a little bit. Because they were pretty hard to clean up. Our water is just super hard. We had a 100% success rate. They all sealed, so very happy with these new lids. The last time I canned venison, I had 4 out of 12 did not seal, so that's why I have gone to the new lids. I mean, we ate it. It didn't go to waste, but I ate it sooner than I wanted to. Oh, that's Mr. Eddie in the background. There's the rings. Okay, got the burner on. I'll be back with you when I take the last batch out of the canner so that you can see the full final product. Okay, so we have finished this canning project. I've taken the last jars out of the canner. They're still very hot, but all but one has already sealed. So I am confident that the last one will seal as it cools down. Also, I wanted to kind of point out to you what adding the vinegar to my water did. They came out nice and clean. So definitely worth the time of not having to clean them up again. So thank you for watching. One other thing I did want to mention to you, I forgot that 70 pints are to process for 75 minutes, any meat products, and quarts for the 90 minutes. So again, 90 minutes for quarts. So thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, like, share. If you like this kind of video, let me know if you'd like to see more like this. Thanks for watching Jimmy Branch Homestead.